What if the person you trusted most, the one you thought was your partner in rebellion, was actually the architect of your downfall? In George Orwell 1984, Winston Smith finds an ally and a lover in Julia, but their private century is nothing more than a careful constructed trap. This is a story how their love was weaponized to lure them into the ministry of love, and how the infamous Room 101 forced them to betray the very essence of their own humanity. In the world of Oceania, which is ruled by or run by a mystic force, which is known as Big Brother, like there are four ministries: the ministries of peace. It runs the perpetual wars. The ministry of plenty. It oversees starvation. The ministry of truth is dedicated to rewriting history with lies, and they're the most feared of all, the ministry of love. Its name is the ultimate terrifying contradiction because it's the center of the party's machinery of pain and torture. But its real secret isn't just that it tortures you, it's that it makes you love the very thing that destroys you. To really understand the fall, you first have to understand the hope that comes before it. Winston Smith is our everyman, a member of outer party, living a quiet life, living a life of quiet desperation under the ever watchful eye of the telescreen. His job at the Ministry of Truth is to systematically erase the past, a daily act of psychological violence against reality itself. But inside him, a flame of rebellion still flickers. He starts a day, like it starts a diary flame that ignited flame, and the diary was a crime punishable by death because he needs to believe in a truth that exists outside the party's control. Then Julia enters his life. At first, he hates her. He even fears her, convinced she's a spy for the thought police. But a simple folded note changes everything. On it are just three words: I love you. Their affair becomes the ultimate act of rebellion in a world where the party goal is to sever all personal bonds and channel every ounce of emotion towards Big Brother. Their love is a revolution. It's a private world they build for themselves, a way of reclaiming their own humanity. So they find a small room above an antique shop run by the seemingly harmless Mr. Charrington. The room without a telescreen becomes their sanctuary. It's a pocket of the past where they can beat themselves away from the prying eyes of the party. Here, aren't just comrades, they are a man and a woman. They share forbidden luxuries like a real coffee and sugar, and for a few stolen hours, they truly live. Winston is convinced that even if they are caught, what they feel for each other is something that party can't touch. He tells Julia, they can't get inside you. And he was wrong. That single belief was the foundation of the entire trap. See, every successful trap needs a convincing lure. For Winston, that lure is O'Brien, a charismatic member of the elite in a party. Like O'Brien is something Winston wants to be: intelligent, powerful, and Winston believes a secret evolutionary. Winston has felt a strange connection to him for years, shared plans, a gut feeling that they are on the same side. These hopes become real when O'Brien finally approaches Winston and Julia. He invites them to his luxurious apartment, a world away from the grime Winston is used to. Like in a scene thick with tension, O'Brien confirms Winston's deepest wish. He claims to be the member of the legendary Brotherhood, the underground resistance sought to overthrow the party. He then turns off his telescreen, a display of power so shockingly it feels like magic. He has them swear on oath to the cause, and oath that includes their willingness to kill, cheat, and betray in the name of the Brotherhood. Then he gives them the book, the fable text by Emmanuel Goldstein, the party's ultimate enemy. which supposedly holds the complete truth about the society. For instance, just holding this book feels like culmination of the entire rebellious life. He and Julia read to the century and read it aloud, feeling like they are finally part of something bigger than themselves. They have the truth, they have a powerful ally, they have a path forward. They have never been more hopeful and they have never been in more danger. Their trust in O'Brien wasn't a path to freedom, it was the carefully laid path into the very heart of ministry of love. Like a betrayal, the end of the private world is as swift as it is brutal. As Winston and Julia lie in bed in their century, a cold iron voice speaks from behind a picture on the wall. You are the dead. The picture was a sham. Our telescreen had been watching them the entire time. Their illusion of privacy shatters in an instant. Suddenly, the room is swarming with the black uniformed guards of the thought police. They smash the beautiful glass paperweight. Winston treasured a symbol of his fragile connection to the past, and it shatters on the floor. See, the violence is total, and then comes the final sickening reveal. The mild mannered shopkeeper whom they trusted, Mr. Carrington, walks into the room and he isn't stopped or frail anymore. He stands upright, his features transformed into a cold, hard face of a young agent of the thought police. So, their century was a cage. Their kind landlord was the jailer. Winston and Julia dragged away, separated their belief, rebellion extinguished. They are taken to the place where there is no darkness, a windowless building where the light never ever turn off. They have arrived at the Ministry of Love. Winston always knew this day might come, but nothing could have prepared him for what's waiting inside of it. See, the purpose of this place wasn't just to punish him, it was to unmake him completely. It was to change the man. Inside the Ministry of Love, pain isn't just punishment, it's a science. And it's not just physical, it's a systematic process of psychological demolition. Winston is starved, beaten, and integrated. I'm fumbling. Interrogated for what feels like an eternity. But the true horror only begins when O'Brien walks into his cell. The man Winston believed was his comrade in the Brotherhood reveals himself to be the chief torturer. With chilling patience, O'Brien explains the party's real philosophy. And please focus on this. The party doesn't seek power for some greater good. It seeks power purely for its own sake. Power is not a means, it is an end, he says. The goal is a world built on fear and torment, a world where the individual is completely annihilated. O'Brien explains that the ministry of love's purpose isn't to create martyrs, it is to cure dissenters to convert them. This cure has three stages: learning, understanding, and acceptance. During learning, Winston is subjected to unimaginable pain as O'Brien dismantles his perception of reality. O'Brien holds up his four fingers and using a dial that inflicts escalating torment forces Winston to say, eventually to see five fingers. This is the essence of doublethink, holding two contradictory beliefs at the same time and accepting both. It's not enough to obey the party, you must believe its reality and it is the only reality. During understanding, O'Brien explains why the party does what it does. He tells Winston that he is the last guardian of human spirit, and O'Brien's job is to break the spirit for good, which he did. eventually. The party's control must be absolute. The final terrifying goal is to make the victim genuinely love the system that is destroying them. But to get to that final stage, acceptance, they need one last tool, a room where the last bit of human humanity is, or the human loyalty is finally burned away. See, every prisoner in the Ministry of Love is terrified of one thing above all, Room 101. Another prisoner starving in a cell with Winston begs to do anything to confess any crime to watch his own family die. Literally, to watch his family die. So he won't be taken there. That's because Room 101 isn't some one size fits all torture chamber, it's a physical manifestation of your own personal hell. O'Brien explains it with terrifying simplicity. Room 101 contains the worst thing in the world, and the worst thing in the world is different for every single person. The party, through its relentless surveillance, knows every citizen's hidden traumas and secret phobias. In Room 101, it weaponized that knowledge with fear so primal that it eclipses everything else, loyalty, principle, and especially love. It is designed to force the ultimate betrayal. For Winston, the worst thing in the world is rats. O'Brien brings a cage with a mask like front, and inside two compartments are large, hungry hat rats. He explained that the mask will be fitted onto Winston's head, and when the door opens, the rats will do what they do best. They will eat his face. This is the cracking point where Winston intellectual rebellion confronts a biological terror that bypasses all reason. And as that cage moves closer, the last shred of his humanity, his love for Julia, is the only thing left. It poses a question for all of us, one that Orwell wanted every reader to ask themselves. What would be in your room alone? What is the one thing that could make you betray everything you hold dear? See, as the rat scream inches from his eyes, Winston Smith's mind simply collapsed. The promise he made to they could never betray each other evaporates in a wave of pure animal terror. In that final, so soul shattering moment, he finds the only way out. He screams over and over the one thing that will save him and condemn her. Do it to Julia. Do it to Julia, not me. I don't care what you do to her. Tear her face off, strip her to the bones, not me. Not me. This is the ultimate betrayal he thought was impossible, but by transferring his punishment to her, he severs the last human connection he had. His re education is now complete. The rebellion is over, the love is gone, and the love is gone. And that's left an empty vessel, finally ready to fill with love for Big Brother. And the Ministry of Love has succeeded. It didn't just break him. He made him into exactly what they wanted. And you are smart enough, ki